All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about how to build a completely rule-safe, zero-surprise virtual machine setup specifically for the OSCP exam. And look, the goal here isn't just about ticking some compliance boxes. It's about walking into that exam feeling totally calm, confident, and ready to focus on what actually matters, which is definitely not your VM setting. So picture this. It's the night before the big exam. You've been studying for months, you feel ready, but then your brain just latches onto this one tiny nagging thought. Did I disable that one setting? Am I absolutely sure? It's that classic pre-test anxiety, right? Where one little technical doubt can feel like this huge, overwhelming problem. I mean, that just nails it, doesn't it? Your brain becomes a petty magician. That feeling, that little bit of self-doubt, that is exactly what we are going to get rid of today. We're going to replace that feeling of panic with a process that's repeatable, verifiable, and honestly, kind of boring. In a good way. Now, to get this right, we first have to make a really important shift in how we think about this. It's not about what you plan to do during the exam. It's all about what your environment is capable of doing. We need to see things from the proctor's point of view. And this right here, this is the heart of the issue. On your side, you're thinking, I promise I won't use it, it's just for convenience. But from the proctor's side, all they see is the reality. The feature is enabled. They can't read your mind, right? All they can do is look at the facts and assess the risk based on what your setup can do. So this all boils down to one key principle: compliance is capability. It's this idea that if your host machine can push text or files into your exam VM, it's a problem. It creates ambiguity. Our job, our entire goal, is to make your setup completely, beautifully, and, well, boringly unambiguous. Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we get to that unambiguous state? We start with a really simple action plan. We're going to focus on locking down the 3 most common areas of risk, what we're going to call the big 3 sharing features. First up is the shared clipboard. This is the big one for sure. It is an amazing feature when you're in the labs, we all use it, but during the exam, being able to just paste commands or code from your host machine into the VM is a massive red flag for proctors. We have to shut it down, no questions asked. And the process for this is totally foolproof. It's just 3 simple steps. First, you go into your VM settings, you find shared clipboard, and you set it to disabled. Second, and listen, this part is absolutely critical. You must fully power off the VM. Do not just suspend it or save the state. Shut it all the way down. And then finally, you boot it back up and you actively test it. Copy something on your host, try to paste it in the VM. It has to fail. When it fails, you know you've done it right. I think we have all been here, right? You change a setting, you feel good about it, but because the VM was just in a saved or suspended state, the change didn't really take. Those integration services are still humming along in the background. That's why a full power off is so important. You need that clean boot to know for sure. Okay, next on our list, drag and drop. The risk here is pretty similar to the clipboard, but it's maybe even more obvious. I mean, to a proctor, seeing a file get dragged from the host desktop into the exam VM, it just looks like you might be pulling in a pre-written script or notes from the outside. We just can't have any appearance of outside help. And the good news is, the process is exactly the same. That's what makes this whole system so easy to remember. You disable the setting, you power the machine all the way off, and then you fail test it. Try to drag a file onto the VM window. It has to fail. Simple, no ambiguity. And for our third and final feature of the big 3, shared folders. Now you got to pay close attention here because there's a common mistake that trips a lot of people up. It is not enough to just turn off auto mounting. So here's the deal. You have to go into your VM settings and completely remove the shared folder entry from the list. Delete it. Just unchecking the auto mount box still leaves the connection defined, which is a potential pathway. So you delete the entry, power off completely, and then boot back up and check inside your guest arrests. That mount point has to be totally gone. Okay, so now we know what to do. Let's talk about when to do it. We're going to package all these steps into a simple, stress-proof routine that I call the 2-pass pre-flight ritual. This is how you transform that last-minute panic into a calm, methodical process. So here's how it works. Pass A is what you do the night before your exam. This is the big check. You disable the big 3, you do the full power cycle, you run all your fail tests, and you create something we'll call a proof pack. Then, on exam day, you do Pass B. This is just a super quick 2-minute sanity check to make sure nothing has changed overnight. So I just mentioned this proof pack. What is that? It sounds kind of official, but trust me, it's incredibly simple. It's just a small set of screenshots that you have ready just in case any questions come up during your proctor check-in. It's about having proof, not just hoping they'll take your word for it.
And it really is this easy. You take 3 screenshots, one showing the clipboard is disabled, one showing drag and drop is disabled, and one showing that your shared folders list is totally empty. Then you just add a little note in a text file with a timestamp, saying something like, fail tested at 7:15 a.m., paste and drag both failed. That's it. That's your evidence.
I just love this quote. It perfectly captures the whole idea. You're spending, what, 30 seconds taking a few screenshots? And in exchange, you're buying yourself peace of mind when the pressure is at its absolute highest. That is a trade I will take every single time. Okay, let's bring this all home. When you follow this process, it means that when your exam session starts, 100% of your focus is on the machines, on the challenges, not on some last-minute scramble to prove your VM settings are correct. All this prep, this is the payoff. So here it is, the entire playbook in 5 steps. 1. Disable the big 3, clipboard, drag and drop, and folders. 2. Power off completely. 3. Fail test to prove those features are dead. 4. Screenshot everything to build your proof pack. And 5. Repeat a quick check on exam day. That's it. That is your recipe for a totally calm start. You can almost think of it in terms of compliance tiers. Tier 1 is just flipping the toggles and hoping for the best. But we want to be at tier 5. That's where everything is disabled. You've done a full power cycle, you've failed tested it, and you have the proof pack from your 2-pass routine. That is the absolute gold standard for a smooth, boring, in the best way, check-in process. And that's really the question I want to leave you with. The OSCP is designed to be a tough exam. It's supposed to test your skills, your creativity, your focus. So why on earth would you ever want to add your own completely avoidable puzzles right at the very beginning? Your preparation isn't just about the technical material, it's about setting yourself up for success from the moment you begin.